Hey, you guys want to see an update on the airplane? Let's go over and do that. I want to make a small YouTube video here, so we'll go over some of the things that we've been working on, guys. Bear with me 1 second. We're making really good headway. The last time I posted content, I was working on the tail, and I got the skins on the tail and whatever and whatnot. Let's see. Yeah, this is about where I left off the last time. Yeah, I put the skins on the tail and whatnot, and that all went pretty good. I had some people comment as to basically said, well, that's not how I did it. I didn't put the skins on after I mounted the tail. And for me, I didn't think it really mattered too much because in my own brain, the way this worked for me is I wanted to get all this stuff in front squared up. And as long as you get everything squared and true, the skins came pre-drilled. So all the holes will line themselves up as long as you did your job right. And it straightens everything up. So that's kind of what I did here. Is I really didn't have a problem bolting the frame to the aircraft first before I put the skins on, because it's all just going to straighten itself out as long as you did your part correctly with the frame and make sure you got the skins at the right orientation. So that's kind of the reasons why I did that. It was just easier with a quick build kit because Sonex riveted the skins on the side. So it wasn't like I could peel the skins back to get my hands up in there with a wrench. So all these fasteners and stuff that I had to tighten down, I had to come through underneath this hole and get on it with a wrench. I could have drilled out the rivets and pulled the skins back, but I didn't really want to do that because Sonex did such a good job with it. But after I got those skins on and everything mounted, they turned out beautiful. Everything's straight, square, true. It feels good, and I don't feel unsafe flying it. So I'm pretty happy with the way that tail turned out. Then here it is, me kind of fitting some of the wingtips and stuff. I ended up getting the rudder itself kind of mounted on. This was the first test fit. This was going back a couple months ago, guys, because I haven't really had made content with this build, but I want to give everybody an update. Then I started doing the Ruddervators and I screwed both of them up. I totally misread the prints and I did it completely wrong. So I ended up taking the first two Ruddervators that I made and ended up throwing them in the garbage, which is fine. At least I know. And what I did is I cut this angle wrong right here. You're supposed to cut this from this hinge, this double lap back this way, and I cut it back the wrong way. So I ended up messing. As you can see, these are just cut back and tapered the wrong way. So I ended up getting a hold of Sonex. They sent me some new parts out, and I finally ended up doing them right. But I also got the tail wheel installed, which is super cool. Everything's level, square. It looks beautiful. So that should taxi real straight. But look at Jace. They just nailed it. I just nailed that tail wheel. So everything's looking pretty good with that. That's all mounted up right now. I did have to get a little creative for the drive push rod and the rear tail wheel because the one that they sent me just didn't line up good. And what I ended up doing is just kind of making my own. This is the push rod that I designed. I just took a piece of 3/8 by 24 thread, the fine thread, and put a 1/2-inch pipe sleeve over the top of that. And that fits so tight inside there. There's no play inside there with the sleeve and the threaded rod. So the threaded rod goes all the way through this little push rod that I made up. And I ended up getting some ball joints offline, and it just really turned out good. These things it operates smooth, it looks good, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. But I just made that out of some 3/8 fine thread rod, got a bunch of aircraft grade hardware, and ended up mounting it up to the tail, and I'm using that as a push rod. And I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Then after I got it all together the way I like it, I just ended up painting it. But with the washers in the last picture you can see kind of stuck out a little bit. So I just put the thing on my belt sander and kept rotating it. And just brought it down to the depth of the lock washer. and that looks really good. I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. Then there's me just painting this little push rod. So I had to get a little creative on the tail, but that is working great. It's actuating fine. This was kind of our first little rough test fit, and it's looking beautiful. It's really looking beautiful and working good. So the rudder's mounted, the tail's mounted. I also installed the flat bar. When Sonex shipped me the aircraft, they just had this little 1-inch circle cut out, and the rod wouldn't fit through there good. So I ended up just squaring up the round hole and just taking a half round file and squaring it up, and that gave me enough room to get the rod through. And I actually think it looks pretty clean. This is all mounted up and squared up and stuff. So the flap's in there, the flap rod's in there. I ended up installing the rudder pedals. I ended up making the mounts for the rudder pedals. They turned out really nice out of that high impact plastic. And once I got those built and stuff, I mean, they just turned out beautiful. They turned out beautiful. Just put them in a little jig, made up them mounts and stuff. I got a little creative on my kind of like how I did it and stuff, and that turned out pretty good. So the rudders are all mounted and stuff. Those are the mounts after I'm done with them. I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. That's after I get the rudder pedals in place. Yep, and just this is me working on the mixer. We got the mixer installed on the airplane. It's pretty cool because I contacted Sonex. I'm like, how do you get what's your preferred method on getting some of this powder card off? Because that would just be a lot of work with like a belt sander and stuff, and I didn't want to take too much metal. So they sent me an email back. They're like, we just burn it off with a torch. I'm like, okay, man, cool. So that's what I ended up doing, just kind of bubbling up the paint, hitting it with a wire brush and some emery cloth, and it just fit inside these bushings really nicely. But this is what makes this is what makes buildings get bigger and smaller, chat. What's going on, Anvil still? How we doing, man? Trex86, what's going on, guys? Guns go bang. What's up, friends? How we doing, everybody? But I mounted this. I ended up getting this all squared up, just mounted together. Standard stuff, guys, not hard. And that's the mixer and its partially completed, pre-mounted form that I just painted, where I burnt the paint off where it needs to get paint back on. I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. Turned out nice and glossy. It looks really good on the mixer. Now, I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, and I had some other questions on the last YouTube video that I put up, and they're like, why are you doing it this way? You really need to follow the flow chart and this and that. And you're right. You're absolutely right. I do need to follow the flow chart. But the issue is Sonex didn't. They built 49% of the aircraft. So I have to go through here and figure out what they did or didn't do and kind of pick up with it where they left off. And some of these stuffs I don't want to complete because I want to leave the lower skins off, you know what I mean, to mount all my hardware. It's going to be like one of the last things that I finally rivet on the airplane is those lower skins. But this is the mixer installed, you know, a test fit, looks really good. And I ended up making up the springs and stuff, making up these hinge plates, these adjuster plates. But Sonex also sent you the springs in length, but not cut off. So I talked to a bunch of different people, and there's 10 different ways that people have been doing this. What I did is I just kind of heated them up with a torch and bended them over, then got them lukewarm and saturated them oil and put a nice temper on it. So these are not gonna break. They're very rigid. I actually had to trim one up with a pair of wire cutters, and this is not brittle at all. It's got a beautiful taper on the spring, and I'm pretty happy with the way these springs turned out. And if you take them springs and lay it right down on the sheet, actually it looks really good. Sonex says they put them in a vise and they struggle with them all day. And they say it usually takes them a day to get both of those springs knocked out and bent correctly. I just heated them up with a torch, kind of did some minor black sifting work, put a really good temper on these hooks, and they're nice and solid. So again, back onto the mixer, and this is kind of getting close to where I left off. And as you can see, they're working good. These will never break on me. I'm not worried about it in the least. Not worried about it in the least. They did a nice job getting them done. It's safe. So they turned out really good. And there's the oil that I just kind of dipped them in. You just use regular motor oil, just put a temper on it, and you're good to go. And moving on here, I made some of these parts that I haven't got to yet on the push rods. But this is the actuator. This is the mount for the flaps. And this was kind of cool. This was another piece I had to get a little creative on. Excuse me, guys. I have an electric actuator that'll control my flaps. I didn't go with manual flaps. I went with electronic flaps. And this is the bottom plate. So everything's mounting up good with this. However, on this top plate, and we'll get down a little bit further. Yeah, this one hole, you can't really fit your rivet gun in there. So what I ended up doing is instead of putting a rivet in there, I actually upsized that to a 1032 and made up this backing plate with like 3/8 aluminum and a nylock nut, and just reached my hand up in there, got it tight. And this is never going to come undone with that nylock nut. It'll never break. This is never going to pull through there. And it's actually going to be stronger than what the prints called for there. What's up, Trex86? Bear with me, guys. I'm just getting through my airplane build. Then we'll get on to some more games. But this is how it looks all mounted up and stuff. Looks real good. That's it in the airplane. And yeah, we're ready to install that. I'm going to hold off installing the actuator until I get my cables run, because there's not really a whole lot of room in there. Then this is the control yokes. I went on to this. I got these all built up, and they look really good. Went with my taper reamer. Got those all mixed up. Little video, just kind of working there back forth. Don't mind my messy house, guys. Then after I took the first set of Ruddervators off because I messed them up, and these are the ones that I redid. And I got the left side completely installed, and I'm working on the right side right now. I'll have them done in another couple days. But once I get the Ruddervators installed, then I can finish running my linkages for the mixer and everything. But this is the left side, and it turned out really good. It just turned out really good right here. Yep, that looks real clean, smart. All the rivets line up like they're supposed to. So after I redid it the second time, I understand better now what the prints are asking me to do. And I'll take the knowledge that I learned from the mistakes that I made on the first two and apply it to the flaps and the ailerons when I go to work on that. So that's pretty much where the project stands right now. Today I got all started in on the controls for the actual airplane, and I'm starting to run all this stuff. I got everything installed, all the push rods and whatnot installed, going back to the mixer, and it's just looking really good. Fits real free. Everything's lining up good. Everything's working as it's supposed to. Nothing's binding. So this is going to be a very safe airplane to fly once I get it done. And that's what I finished up today. So that's where we stand with the airplane build, guys. It's coming along. I mean, it's one part at a time, one bolt at a time, one screw at a time, as fast as you can go. But hopefully by the end of this coming weekend, I'll have the tail completely finished, and I can start and get my controls installed, and then I can start moving forward on the airplane, getting the landing gear installed, the engine mounts, all that stuff. So we're making really good headway on the project, guys. It's just taking time, and it takes as long as it takes. I'm in no hurry. I'm in absolutely no hurry to get this stuff done. Not in any hurry to turn this thing into a lawn dart, guys. But all right, that's a update on the build, guys. We'll get back over here. We'll do some games and do the thing here. There.